Please do not attempt to build the Porta Jib alone. Because of the weight of some of the components and the potential instability of the unit when partially assembled, we strongly suggest that no less than 2 people should attempt to assemble the jib.
This is the assembled jib, without a camera, in its locked position.
We leave the tripod and the dolly assembled.
So do not take the tripod off the dolly when you tear the jib down.
This is how it looks in the case.
Take the fulcrum out of the case
and set it on the base of the tripod. The boom lock is loose at this point,
so be careful not to pinch your fingers in it. Turn the fulcrum clockwise to lock it in and tighten the 3 screws.
Check the kip levers on the upper tripod legs. Make sure they are tight.
This is a good time to make sure the unit is level by adjusting the legs on the tripod.
Check the bubble on the fulcrum and try to center it by making small adjustments to the lower tripod legs.
Do not attempt to do this after you've built the jib. Do it now.
Remove the steel bar from the case.
Notice that one end is threaded
and the other is not.
The non-threaded end goes through the bottom lock and into the fulcrum assembly.
There is a threaded hole in the top of the steel bar that must line up with the hole marked 1 on the top of the fulcrum.
Lock the steel bar in place with the screw marked 1.
Then, level the steel bar with the boom lock by holding it level and locking the kip levers.
Next, slide the fine-tuning weight onto the steel bar
and tighten the Allen screw marked 2.
This is the counterweight shaft and its coupling.
Screw them together and slide the shaft onto the end of the steel bar.
Line up the hole in the coupling with a hole in the top of the steel bar.
The counterweight shaft is held in place by the vector bar. Screw the vector bar in place to secure the counterweight shaft.
Add the safety cap to the end of the steel bar.
Slide one of the circular clamps onto the main tube.
Slide the main tube onto the front of the fulcrum.
Insert and lock the through pin through the main tube.
Tighten the kip lever on the clamp.
At this point, the jib should look like this. Next, secure the secondary arm with the screw marked 3 on the side of the arm.
Do not remove the screws on the secondary arm when you disassemble the jib. They only need to be loosened to take the jib apart.
Put another circular clamp on the front of the main tube of the jib.
Slide the front camera mount or tongue into the main tube.
Insert the through pin. Lock the through pin.
Tighten the clamp on the main tube.
The other end of the secondary arm connects to the tongue of the jib. Tighten it with the screw marked 4 on the arm.
If you haven't already, you should rest the end of the jib on a C-stand to support it.
Until you have the camera counterbalanced with weights on the back of the steel bar, the jib will be extremely unstable.
Before you put a camera on the jib, be sure the bowl for the camera mount is level.
You can adjust the tongue right to left by loosening the clamps and rotating the tongue slightly to center the bubble.
The front to back level can be adjusted with the secondary arm by turning it.
Turning the arm here makes it longer or shorter, which changes the position of the tongue.
With the jib assembled, you can mount a camera head on the tongue and counterbalance it by adding weights to the vector arm
or the counterweight shaft.
You can make small adjustments by moving the fine-tuning weight up and down the steel bar.
Ideally, the camera should sit level with no one touching the jib.